We want to welcome you back to the LBCA Coaches Corner. And again, I'm John Parker. I'm head baseball coach at Ouachita Christian School and on the board of directors for the LBCA. And if you tuned in last week with Coach O'Neill and we discussed the Southeastern Underclassmen Shootout. And we were fortunate enough this week to go ahead and have the coaches that were that coached two teams representing Louisiana, and obviously we had some different circumstances. We were supposed to play in Troy, Alabama, and at the last minute they canceled on us, and we ended up playing just a 3-game series in Lake Charles. And Tim's going to go through that here in just a second. So just want to introduce the coaches that are on this call with us, and let them talk a little bit about themselves as far as their coaching career, where they, just kind of give us a brief history of everything that they've done in their coaching career. So, of course, we have Tim O'Neill, the LBCA Executive Director. You met him last week. So, no offense, but we're going to skip over Tim, and we're going to go to – yeah. We're the coaches so I was fortunate enough and honored to be the head coach of the Louisiana Gold team. My assistant for those couple of games, or 3-game series, I should say, was Coach Jeff Tajant from Franklinton High School. The coaches for the Louisiana Purple team, the head coach was Coach Wayne Stein from St. Charles Catholic, and his assistant was Coach Justin Morgan from University Lab School in Baton Rouge. So, guys, I appreciate you joining on the call with us. And Coach Tajant, I'm going to let you start this off and just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go with Coach Stein and Coach Morgan, and then I'll finish it out. So, Coach Tajant, go ahead.
All right. I'm in my 34th year at Franklinton High School, starting it. Been 29 and a half after last year as head coach. My dad was the coach back in the 60s and 70s, and, I sort of followed in his footsteps. And I have both my sons that are my assistants right now, so that's pretty special. But we've had some pretty good teams, but Franklin is a great community, and it's been real nice coaching here.
Coach Stein?
Yeah, my name's Wayne Stein. I've been at St. Charles Catholic for the last 17 years. I was assistant coach for 10 and been the head coach for the last 7. Again, as do we have a rich baseball tradition. We have been in the playoffs 30-plus years in a row, and unfortunately have 8 state runner-ups and do have 1 state championship. Real good, gritty River Parish school with great players and great support from our administration and our parents.
Coach Morgan.
Yeah, my name is Justin Morgan. I was an assistant baseball coach at Dutchtown High School for 7 years, and just completed my 6th year as the head baseball coach at University Lab School in Baton Rouge on LSU's campus, following in the footsteps of LSU, former LSU player Bert Broussard, and he did a great job with the program and stepped away from it when his son went off to college to play, and just really honored to be a part of our school community and continuing to try to carry that torch on to whoever those next players and that next coach is at our school, to carry on that tradition that Bert has set there.
Well, I am John Parker. Like I said, I'm the head baseball coach at Ouachita Christian School. I'm in starting my 8th season as the head coach. I've been at OCS now, starting my 17th year at OCS. Been very blessed and fortunate to coach some really good teams, and having a guy like Tim O'Neill as an assistant for me for a few years, and learned a ton of baseball under him, and was privileged to coach his son. And I took over the head coaching job in 2014 after legendary coach and LBCA Hall of Famer Micah Harper, and we've been very blessed, and to win I believe 8 state championships in that period of time, and It's been a really nice ride, and hopefully we can keep it going. So that's just kind of a brief history of I guess of the four of us, of the high school coaches who coached in it. And what I would like to do now is turn it back over to Tim, and let Tim give everyone kind of a brief history of the Southeastern Underclassmen Shootout, how the LBCA became involved in this, and just a quick version of maybe the selection process for the how we select the teams for it. So, Tim, if you would, take over, man.
Yeah, before I was running the LBCA, Mark Carroll had mentioned at our convention that the Alabama had contacted us. I don't know if we wanted to put a team in. So I really didn't think about it for a while. My son happened to be a junior that year, and some point late in the year, the season, I called Mark, said, "Hey, has anybody volunteered to coach that?" And he said no. And I said, "Well, I'll do it if nobody else wants to, and give it a shot." That year it was late in the process. I mean, we couldn't have any tryouts or anything, so I just started. I got a list from Perfect Game and PBR, and just kind of went down the list. Knew a few guys up here, and ended up actually put together a real good team. We went over there, didn't know what to expect. It's a 6-team event over there at Troy, and we stayed on campus. Had the meals there on campus, and it was just a real good deal. Had a good time. Actually, that year was the worst that we've done, so I fired myself as coach. And then, this would have been our 5th year to go over there. So we've played there 4 years. We won it twice. Probably would have won it another year. We had a couple pitchers bow out on us at the last minute. We lost the championship game that year. So my year was the worst. We came in 3rd that year, though. But it's a cool deal. I know, John, you went as an assistant one year. We usually try to get 4 high school coaches, sometimes 5. We usually have some college coaches. In the past, we've had some pro scouts in the dugout with us. This year we had Thomas Semino from Baton Rouge Community College. Stephen Adams has gone off. This will be the 5th year he's been with us. He's at LSU Alexandria. And then he got Stuart Morgan from Louisiana College to come out this year. They stuck with us once we had to move. But it's like I say, it's a real good deal. The selection process has basically been me putting the team together. We get nominations from coaches. Obviously, not all the players get nominated that should. So, again, I'm looking at those 2 lists and kind of going down it and just putting teams together based on who can come and positions and things like that. So it's worked out pretty good. This year was a little easier. I had a contact on the nights, and he got several players for me. We had several players from Sheets Baseball and Team Louisiana that were going to come at first. This year was a little unusual, obviously. I thought it was going to be canceled, and it's usually in late June. We got notice in either late June or early July that they were going to have it at the end of July this year. They ran their state games 2 weeks before, didn't have any issues. So 3 teams that normally came couldn't come, but they added Georgia, and was talking to the director over there. And I said, I might could get 2 teams if you could. One year Alabama did have 2 teams. Somebody bowed out. So we went ahead and did 2 teams. And like I said, I think it was the Friday. We were supposed to get there on Monday, and the Friday before we got canceled. I think the college or maybe even the state made them cancel everything. And just long story short, one of the players was from St. Louis on one of the teams, and his father, stepfather maybe, runs the Lake Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau. And at first he was trying to move everything down there, and then we were talking, and he said, well, heck, let's just get our two teams to play, maybe 2 or 3 games. And before I knew it, we had put this together and we were down there playing. And I think it turned out pretty good. I was disappointed that the players couldn't go to Troy and experience that, and the coaches, because it's, like I say, it's a really neat deal. But this turned out really good. I think everybody enjoyed themselves and competed. We had a few guys that once we moved to Lake Charles didn't come, and we were scrambling to fill in some guys. But we got some good players, and I thought we had 2 strong teams out there. Had 3 competitive games. I want to mention this next year. I don't know if we can put it together, but we're hoping to have maybe 3 kind of tryout deals, maybe at 3 different colleges. Lake Charles has even talked about moving it like some state games there a couple of weeks before and trying to select these teams. So hopefully we can put that together for next year. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you for the brief rundown. We could talk, a lot longer about those games and over the last few years. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to be a part of it, and I think in 2017, and we were able to we won the whole thing, and it was. I mean, I can speak firsthand. It was a really cool experience to be able to stay on campus and the several different things that they have put together for the kids. Alabama Coaches Association does just a really, really good job. But Tim, also, I just want to tell you here I know on behalf of the other 3 coaches that are on here, how much we appreciated the work that you put into finding us a place to play. And, it was because everybody wanted to be I think everybody wanted to be around baseball, and with all the COVID-19 stuff and our seasons getting canceled, it was really neat to be around the kids again and just to be around some baseball and be around all you guys. And we really appreciate the work you put into it to find us a place to play. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Stein and Coach Morgan. So as Tim said, we had 2 teams, and Coach Stein and Coach Morgan, they coached the Louisiana Purple team. And Tim also mentioned that it was 3 competitive games. Their team, Louisiana Purple, they came out on top, winning 2 out of 3 games. So I'm going to let him go first, and we're going to go through the rosters and just talk, read, who the guys were that represented each team for the state of Louisiana, and then I'm going to let he and Coach Morgan talk about a few highlights their roster, and then Coach Tajant and I will do the Louisiana Gold team. So Coach Stein, go ahead with the Louisiana Purple.
First of all, was really impressed. You get a group of young men together, most of them the best baseball players on their team. Sometimes you can have, a lot of personalities, but we really had a great group of young men. I think that impressed me more than anything. The guys on our team were Addison Ainsworth from Catholic of Baton Rouge, Casey Ortiz from St. Thomas Aquinas, Ethan Butler from University Lab, Cade DuPont from Live Oak, Brennan Holt from Parkview Baptist, Lane Little from West Monroe, Branson McCoy from Live Oak, Landon Morrow from St. Thomas More, Josh Pearson from West Monroe, Ethan Prescott from Live Oak, Cade McBride from Sulphur, Brant Smith from Live Oak, Solomon Riley from Dunham, Nick Wall from University Lab, Mason Zambo from Catholic of Baton Rouge, and our lone 2022 on Louisiana Purple was Ashton Fuselier from Sam Houston High School. Some of our highlights, I'll let Coach Morgan talk a little bit about, some of the best performances. I think, more than anything, when you go to these games, you've heard a lot about these players, and, they just didn't, none of them disappointed. Our lineup started out with 7 lefties in a row. And LSU commit Grant Smith kind of broke it open the first game, coming from behind with a grand slam. And And I think what you really realize is just how good these kids, especially the pitching. I mean, we had good pitching on both sides, but there was contact made, hard contact made throughout all three games. I think that you really see how good these kids have to be to pitch at the next level. And I thought it was a great setting as far as that's concerned. Obviously, you get an opportunity to see guys like Josh Pearson that you hear about, get a chance to see him play and really see how great a kid he is, and just see the athleticism. I think that's what stood out more than anything to me, was just how athletic our team really was. Guys really could run and all really flash great tools at one way or the other, at one time or the other. Coach Morgan, you want to add to that, or maybe talk a little bit more about our pitching?
Yeah, I mean, I think to reiterate what Wayne was talking about is the fact that obviously our first 6 or 7 hitters were left-handed, and we talked about, man, do we need to mix in a righty in here? I mean, it's kind of goes against everything you think of in a baseball lineup, but to not have, to have all those guys at one, all having the same tool hitting from the left side. But when you look at it, 3 out of those 6 guys are LSU commits, another guy's a Southern Miss commit, another guy's a UL Lafayette commit. It was pretty impressive. Again, like Coach Stein's talking about, the athleticism, that kind of stood out to me. The Brant Smith kid's he looks like a defensive end, and he's able to move well. He stretched the double out a couple of times. You see a kid like that playing first base, you don't know how well they're going to move side to side. And he got to figure out pop in the bat, but the fact that he was able to stretch out a couple doubles, it was kind of impressed with that. And obviously, again, what Wayne was talking about is just the quality of kids. We didn't have anybody acting like they were bigger than the game. To us as coaches, respected us a lot, and I respect the heck out of that as young men, to be able to go in that situation and do those things. Offensively, obviously, we had some pretty big bats in there, and again, Brant Smith had a good weekend, or those 2 games. I'm sorry, 3 games, and Mason Zambo had a really nice couple of games too for us from the left side as well. Big power lefty. For us, the Ethan Prescott kid is a left-handed pitcher from Live Oak. I think he threw 4 innings for us in one of the games and did a really, really nice job of throwing the contact and using what, he's a kind of a typical lefty. He has really good run on the fastball and has a good feel for the changeup. And, he's a guy that knows who he is. He enjoys being out there, competes really hard. Again, it shows a lot of the talent that they got there at Live Oak under Jesse Cassard right now with their junior class.
Coach Stein, tell us who the MVPs of your team, as far as the most outstanding pitcher and the most outstanding hitters.
Yes, so our most outstanding pitcher, as Coach Morgan just said, was Ethan Prescott. We kind of made a joke. We saved all our Live Oak arms for the last game. We said it was Live Oak versus the world. They basically did. I mean, he threw 4 innings, and going back to what Justin said about Brant Smith, he jumped on the mound and threw it 86 to 89 also to close out that game. But our most outstanding pitcher was Ethan Prescott. And then our 2 outstanding hitters, we shared it, were Brant Smith and Mason Zambo, who's a ULL commit, or UL, as an alum would say, commit. And so they really flashed, their tools. And again, even the big men, the athleticism that they showed, was second to none.
A good deal. Obviously from the other side of the field, I mean, yeah, it definitely was impressive to see some of those dudes come up to the plate and some of the swings they took, and and they were not cheated whatsoever. It was really impressive to see some of those guys walk up there. They looked like dead-gum grown men walking up to the plate. So I'm going to go through the Louisiana Gold roster that Coach Tyjon and I had the pleasure of coaching. And then he and I will both talk a little bit about our roster. So on the Louisiana Gold team, we had Kel Babin from East Ascension, Dylan Bergeron from E.D. White, Hadley Cooley from DeQuincy, Michael Curry from Bruley, Reed Eason from West Monroe, Gunnar Guerin from DeQuincy, Brody Knaps from Central, Ethan Menard from Notre Dame, Parker Morgan from St. Louis Catholic, Cade Prejean from St. Charles Catholic, had Ryan, hope I pronounced this right, Smilari from Rummel, had Reese Smith from Denham Springs, had Tyson Stewart from Doyle, had Cameron Weiss from Slidell, Andrew Uritek from Doyle, Walker Bridges from Sulphur, and Britton Coleman from South Beauregard. And just talking about, again, I'll reiterate some of the things that, Coach Stein said about his roster. I mean, really good group of kids. I mean, they were just got out there and competed well. And nobody really cared as far as rotations and who played where and that kind of thing. No selfishness on that part. When you coach kind of an all-star team kind of atmosphere, sometimes you worry about that kind of stuff. And but nobody really cared. They really enjoyed just getting a chance to play with each other and to play against some of their buddies. From Louisiana Purple team. Few kids that stood out for us. And I'm going to turn this over to Coach Tajant in just a second, but, a kid like Brody Knaps from Central High School, that kid, just from the first time that he swung the bat in BP on that Tuesday, he squared the ball up, he might not have been the most sound mechanical hitter, but it didn't really matter. I mean, he squared the ball up just about every time he hit. I think he ended up in 3 games, ended up with 5 hits in 3 games. He played really well for us. Kid like Kel Babin from East Ascension, man, I was really impressed with just the grittiness he had. I mean, that kid, he's one of those kids that, baseball coaches love to have. I mean, looked like he was going to be a dirtbagger. We played on turf and he was still dirty somehow or another. He's just one of those kids that looked like he would do anything to help the team in any situation. I really enjoyed watching him play. And, we had several arms that were, standout kids with a Parker Morgan from St. Louis Catholic. I really like kids, that maybe from schools that don't get a lot of notoriety, like Andrew Uritek from Doyle. I thought he threw the ball really well. The ball came up, he had a live arm. Those are just a few kids in my mind that stood out, and I could, obviously go on. But I'm going to go ahead and let Coach Tajant, let him talk a little bit about some guys that stood out for him.
I really like Kel Babin. Seemed like he was on base a lot. Kid that can run. So it was always, coaching first base. He was there a lot. I was really impressed with our catchers, Michael Curry from Bruley and Ethan Menard from Notre Dame. Those guys blocked it up well. I don't remember, how many stolen bases and all, but their arms were good. They call, and they're used to coaches calling games, and they called their own games, and I thought they did a good job with that. Parker Morgan, we talked about the lefties, left-handed from St. Louis Catholic. He, we throw him in there against 7 lefties, like you say, several LSU commits and some good guys. And I think I know 3 of the 4 innings, he got into trouble running at third base. 1 out, 0 outs, and he got out of it. So I was really impressed with him. Brody Knaps, like you said, I know a couple times looking up with runners on base and seeing him up, and he squared everything up. So again, little like Coach Parker said, a little unconventional, but he did very well. Going back, both teams, I don't remember many errors, which is I think says the quality that we had. I enjoyed the batting practice and the home run derby as much as anything. Just seeing these guys, we're sort of in the eastern part of the state. We don't. I've heard, you hear of all these players, and it was just nice to get to see them. It was nice to see, Coach Semino and Coach Adams and Coach Morgan, college coaches. What an opportunity for them to sit there and see these guys one-on-one. And the last day, Coach Semino hit infield to both groups. And just for them to get it's plus for our players, and for them, our players that's not committed to get a look. So, and one thing I really enjoyed was just listening to the guys talk. Both teams, they knew each other. Just in the dugout, talking with them. I admire, like you said, the Babin was gritty. We had a lot of gritty players, and just seeing their whole attitude. But it was an honor for me to coach and just get to know the kids, and would love to do it again. It was a treat.
Yeah, several of those kids, like you talked about, I mean, just it was really, really neat to watch the way they just you can't gel together in a 2-day period, but just the way that they already knew each other. They had a kind of a camaraderie about them, obviously playing a lot of baseball still this summer through whatever team that they were playing with, whether it be the Knights or Team Louisiana. They had those connections, and it was neat to watch the kids interact with each other. A kid that I didn't want to overlook, or I didn't want to leave out, that I did overlook, let me put it like that, is Reed Eason from West Monroe. Kind of honestly, just, he's not real big, but man, he gets a lot of pop out of that body of his. And, he swung the bat really well for us. Hit our only home run, which was an opposite field home run. And so, I mean, he swung it really well. And I wanted to mention him because our outstanding hitters for the Louisiana Gold team, we had 2 of them. And Reed Easton was one, and Brody Knaps was the other. So those 2 guys, I thought, led our offensive surge, in all 3 games. Then our most outstanding pitcher for the Louisiana Gold team was Parker Morgan from St. Louis Catholic. And he started, game 1, and he went 4 strong innings. And, he's a special kid. And I think he's on, he has a bright future at Nichols. And I think we may have just lost Coach Stein, but maybe he can rejoin us. Last couple of things real quick before we go, and Tim, I'll let you jump in on this as well, but, I'll let you start, Tim, matter of fact. And, we obviously had a lot of committed kids that played on both teams, and who are some of maybe the kids who are not committed, who's some uncommitted kids in the 21 class that maybe stood out to you in the 2 days that you were down there with us?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. I honestly don't remember who all was committed and who wasn't. I know Lane Little didn't pitch great down there in this game, but he's pitched well all summer. He just committed to ULM.
Yeah.
Coach Parker, we had a couple on the purple that's kind of sticking out to me right now.
Yeah.
Tim, I'm trying to help you out a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Addison Ainsworth out of Catholic of Baton Rouge is a really good hitter, man. A strong kid from the left side, played really good outfield. He gets good jumps on the ball. He's a really athletic hitter in the box. And I thought Solomon Riley, man, a big right-handed pitcher from Dunham High School, had some life on the ball. Super kid. And I think he's a guy that down the road, you see that body, he's 6'4", 6'5" frame, and looks like there's a lot more in there, a lot more ceiling in there with him as he hopefully progresses and gets an opportunity somewhere along the line. But I thought those guys for us kind of stood out as some of those sleepers, if you will, amongst some of those other guys that we had that were pretty athletic throughout the course of our lineup and on our team.
Yeah. The Riley kid, man.
I kind of liked Ethan Menard.
Yeah.
He
absolutely.
Pitched, caught, played some infield. He was another dirtbag kind of kid. Good body, big kid. I think he's going to I heard a couple of coaches talking about him.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. I was going back to the Riley kid, man. He's at, with the scouts, they talk about being projectable. you talked about that body size, man. He's a big kid, and I think he's, like you said, I mean, he's got a lot left in the tank. And, but yeah, the Menard kid that played with us, man, I really liked him. Very vocal kid, took charge. Coach Tajant, what about it? A couple of kids that maybe some uncommitted kids that stood out to you.
I think Naps will be a steal from somebody. I don't know if he's committed anywhere, but somebody that gets the barrel on the ball as much as he does. Maybe you watch around a BP or something, and he, maybe don't impress you as much, but he impressed me a whole lot in the game. I thought the Similarity kid from Rummel, left-hander, outfielder, could have a shot to play somewhere. He could run a little bit. It's about all at the top of my head there.
Okay. Tell you a couple of kids. I was going to say the Menard kid as well, but I like Michael Curry from Bruley. I thought he handled himself really well, and
catching was
both of our catchers I really on the gold team, and like Coach, I think Coach Tajant mentioned this a minute ago. Both sides, man, played really well defensively, and both catchers. I mean, I say should more than two catchers, but both teams' catchers played really well. I thought called really good games for the most part, and but Curry and Menard on our side, I thought did a really, really good job. And I mentioned, a kid like the Uritic kid from Doyle, who may not get a whole lot of publicity down there, but another kid that I really liked. He just kind of was under the radar a little bit. He was a late addition to our team. Was the Britton Coleman kid from South Beauregard, and played some middle infield for us. Really smooth, had a long body, long lean frame. I'm gonna start using some of those PBR, references. Live arm action, that kind of stuff. So, I really liked watching him. I was really impressed with him as well. Britton Coleman from South Beauregard, but I was just overall, man, in both of the rosters. Even the late additions that came along with us, I thought we had both teams had really, really competitive teams. So it was a lot of fun being around you guys, and also being around the kids for a couple of days. Coach Stein, you missed out on us for there a minute. I was just on. We were asking about maybe a couple of sleepers, maybe some uncommitted kids that stood out to you on your team.
Well, definitely, we all know about the big guns that we had. Three guys really stood out, that are uncommitted, I think, on our team. And there were some guys, I'm not saying from the showcase, but since we've had it, you start to follow those guys, and we've had some guys get offers and get committed, like Lane Little and going to ULM and things like that. But I really was impressed with the size and the arm strength of Landon Morrow from St. Thomas More.
Yeah.
I thought he played solid corner guy. I thought he had great pop, and he was a mid-80s guy on the mound. And again, I don't want to keep overusing this. Maybe one of the best kids we had as far as people. Ethan Butler from University High. When you can get a guy that really catcher is not his high school position, he can be a catcher. He'll catch for the Knights at time in the summer. But he plays third base mostly for U High, and to come in an all-star game and not even be able to miss a beat defensively, and again, to still hold his own offensively, that's impressive. And the third guy that really stood out was Addison Ainsworth from Catholic of Baton Rouge. Just very athletic, made solid contact, was able to repeat his swing over and over again, be able to hit in all counts. And he had some big at-bats for us. So, again, there's more. And I was impressed with the 2022 Ashland Fusilier. We called him on the way up. He called me, said, "Coach, it's just baseball. I'll be there at 5 o'clock." So he missed the home run derby and all the sexy stuff. But he got in there and he competed for 3 games, man, which was really impressive. And, always excited to be around you guys. That's why I love this. I'm a football coach and a baseball coach. I think us as a baseball coaches group get an opportunity to kind of to talk and really get a little bit closer than we do on the football side. So that was always a plus. But again, thought the kids were phenomenal, and we had 3 real good baseball games. You know?
Yes, no doubt. And, Coach Stein kind of just kind of gave his closing remarks. I thought, just talking about being around the guys and that kind of thing. And so, Coach Tyjon, I'm gonna let you have if you want to add anything, just some closing remarks, and then I'll move on to Coach Morgan and Coach O'Neill, and then I'll finish us out.
It was just a great opportunity. It was nice getting to know Coach Parker. We had a lot of talks over there in the dugout. But Tim, I appreciate the invite. It's a great opportunity, and it's something that a lot of kids, I'm sure they appreciated it. But it's just a special time for those guys, and a special time for us, like Coach Stein said, just to be able to, we talk and pick each other's brains, and it's just great fellowship, and I really enjoyed it.
Coach Morgan?
Yeah, I think anytime you can represent your school or your community, I think it's a great honor, and a privilege to get to do what we get to do, man. And again, Tim, thank you so much for thinking of me in this chance. And I was Wayne's assistant, and like Wayne and Coach was just talking about, baseball takes us in a lot of circles. Wayne beat us in a state championship last year, and I got to be his assistant this year. So and the good thing about it is that there is no hard feelings there. I really think that when I first got into coaching, I thought it was us against the world. Me as an individual coach against every other coach, and it's not like that at all. We have a great fraternity and great group of men, that you can, obviously say not only colleagues but friends, and somebody you can call on and contact at any moment to pick their brain and bounce ideas off of. And just a great honor and a privilege again to not only share the field with you guys, but to also get to represent our school in this process.
Coach O'Neill?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys. I think y'all enjoyed it. I hope you did. I wish you could have gone to Troy. As good as this was, I think Troy's just a notch above that, and hopefully we can make that happen again. I want to mention a couple things, John. As we got there, the kids took batting practice on both teams. A few other colleges were there watching too. Then we had the home run derby, which was pretty neat. I think we had 4 off each team. Brant Smith won it, and what was Knapp's first name?
Brody.
Brody, yeah. I think he came in second, right?
Yeah, he did.
So that was pretty cool. And then Mr. Morrow, he called me. He offered to feed the guys, so he fed them. After that. And then fed them again, went and got Subway for everybody on Saturday between games. Not Saturday, Wednesday. So, that was really nice of him doing that. We took in and out before each game. So, all the colleges guys got to see that and evaluate that. Then we played one game on Tuesday and, like I said, the doubleheader on Wednesday. Worked out good. Each team won a game, and then we had the championship game. I want to mention the Lake Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau, Kyle Edmiston and Eric Zartler. Man, they took care of us. It was unbelievable. They got umpires. They got the field. I was in Atlanta when this thing got canceled. They put us up at the LaBerge. They got $100 rooms for the parents. It was first class what they did for us. And they turned a bad situation, not going to Troy, into something really nice. So I appreciate those guys a lot. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can build on this a little bit next year and get us some state games out of it to pick this team.
Absolutely. Well, I'll just reiterate pretty much everything these guys said. And, number one, it was just it's an honor to be asked to be a part of something like this, and to be around you guys, and the college coaches that were represented there, and then also the student athletes. And like Coach Morgan said, just anytime you can represent your school and your community in an event like this, I mean, it's just an honor to be asked. And it wasn't the Southeastern Underclassmen Shootout that we all anticipated going to. It turned into the LBCA Underclassmen Shootout, and the best 2 out of 3. And it ended up being a really, really nice time for us down in Lake Charles a couple of weeks ago. So this will conclude our second Zoom call, or whatever you want to call it, for the LBCA Coaches Corner. This has been the wrap of the LBCA Southeastern Underclass Shootout, and hopefully next year we'll be back in Troy, and we'll be able to preview it and then have a recap of it again. So I appreciate these guys on behalf of these guys, on behalf of Coach Morgan and Coach Tajant and Coach Stein and Coach O'Neill. I appreciate you joining us, and hope to join us again next week on the LBCA Coaches Corner.